Hold on to your butt.
The bigger point. Well, ain't you gonna press the flesh, Pappy? Do a little politicking?
I'll press your flesh, you big-witted sumbitch. You don't tell your pappy how to cut the electorate. We ain't one at a time in here. We're mass communicating. Oh, yes. That's a powerful new force. Mm-hmm. Take a leg, Junior.
You know, what you need is some of that hysterical perspective. You know what I mean?
There ain't no treason, boss one. I know. I am a boss Wayne lumberjack, and I ain't never had a job.
Something 5.
I don't remember, but I was working with not Photoshop. What's the editing tool they use?
Premiere?
No, before Premiere.
I never did anything prior to Premiere.
Oh, really?
Crazy, yeah.
Well, I'm
a
old.
baby. Yep. Right here.
This is in the beginning of all this stuff.
Sure.
Me and my buddy were screwing around with it.
This is when you're still in New York?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is years ago.
So, were you born in New York? Did you stay there until you moved to South Carolina? What were kind of your journeys before you landed here?
I was born in the Bronx. When we were 8, moved to Westchester County. It's the county right above the city.
Not Worcestershire.
Worcestershire, yeah.
Westchester, yeah.
Right on.
And which we lived in Pelham, Pelham Manor. It's just lower Westchester. And down the street was literally the Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But better school district and everything. It's the suburbs.
Sure.
But everybody who lived there was from the Bronx.
Sure.
You know, it's like, all right, we made some money. Let's get the hell out of the Bronx and get our kids better education.
Sure.
So the first thing we got to know is we've been playing guessing games on how to pronounce your last name.
Manos.
Manos, okay.
Yeah. Thanos, the Manos. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So my real last name is Manitopoulos.
Manitopoulos.
Yeah, it got shortened. My grandfather shortened it. I think it was in the 60s, late 60s, because people didn't want to deal with someone so ethnic.
Sure.
You know, so Greek.
That's crazy that like living in is accepting, and you're shamed for not being accepting of open other communities and stuff now. That's almost hard for me to believe that not that long ago that was even a consideration.
It is. Yeah, it's still like that to a degree.
Sure.
You know, but so I lived in Westchester County. I lived then I had moved to Manhattan for a couple of years. I was like, if I ever want to have a wife and a family, I better get out of here. So I moved back to Pelham, bought my own house, then lived in a place called Armonk, then a place called Pound Ridge.
What were you doing for work?
I was a mechanical contractor. I did that 27 years in New York City.
All in the city?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Wow.
When you say mechanical contractor, could you say I never...
Air conditioned heating.
Awesome. Very cool.
But for larger scale buildings.
Yes, when I first right before I went into the military, I worked with Duke Energy for about 5 years on dams, and then with Amazon and Snyder's and the more production side of the industrial field. I love working with my hands, man. But I got hit so hard with you know how you say get white spots when you box, right?
Yeah.
You ever been hit so hard that you see the stars? And I hit myself with a wrench. I was trying to pull a piece of sheet metal backwards, and dude, it came off and just bam! I threw that thing, and then it went down in the little auger, and I had to fix that machine. It was painful.
That's awful.
Yeah, mechanic. It can be tough, man.
I didn't work with my hands. I was more office staff.
Smart guy, much smarter. Everybody I meet's always smarter than me. It's crazy.
Yeah, same here.
I know. Wasted a lot of my life in New York City, so
sure,
seen a lot of stuff.
Wow. So when did you make the move?
I bought the house 4.5 years ago, but we've lived here for 3.5 years.
Really?
Yeah. But because we wanted my daughter to finish 5th grade with the people she grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So we did that. We waited a year and moved down here.
So what made you move?
I wanted to get out of New York. We'd seen a house on Zillow that was in Fort Mill, and the pictures were great. And then we got there. It was still a nice house, but wasn't as nice as what we expected. But we spent some time, and we really liked the South.
Sure.
And so we kept on looking. We went from here to Waxhaw. We were looking, and then we came to South. We were like, all right, not North Carolina. We want South Carolina.
Right.
and because we're more conservative, and it's a
And the
more
taxes are much lower.
Right. So how did you choose the Carolinas?
just that one house. On
You were
Zillow.
just happened to be on Zillow and saw the house?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And just fit everything we were looking for. Just we didn't fall in love with that house. Then it got down to two houses, one in Fort Mill and one in Clover, and I spent time in both areas, and there was just too many Yankees in Fort Mill, and
Sure.
I don't want to.
So,
why
it's-
move down south if you're going to be with a bunch of Yankees?
I mean, that's basically an extension of Charlotte now.
Yeah.
You know, Fort Mill, Indian Land. It's crazy. You know, when Charlie and I grew up here, it was still a fairly large community. You know, it was a growing community, but nothing like when I'd say our mid 20s.
Yeah.
Fort Mill, boom. Now York County is the one of the top 10 fastest growing counties in the nation 5 times in the past 10 years. It's insane.
Crazy.
The growth.
Which stinks. I don't like all these Yankees. I didn't move down here for it.
I like them, man. Maybe
I'm
it's my
rolling around
yeah.
with New York tags to this day right now, so I'm like, people are probably like looking at me. I'm like,
Look at this front plater.
I've been side eyeing this car for like the past 2 years.
Yeah,
So, no, geez.
I'm gonna give you the finger next time I see you passing
Yeah.
by.
Yeah,
Two
so
of us.
I was in Watertown, and I kind of get what you're saying. Like there was a big division. Like they were like from what that goes on in the city, and then what takes place out in the on the outside.
It's a completely different country. You know, from New York City to upstate New York is completely different.
Yeah, it's almost like a separate country. Like that's what I started this podcast, was trying to explain to people what I've discovered. And I was like, there's more to New York than this little piece of city down here.
It's insane in the city too.
Yeah. I never went. I never made it down there.
That's good for you.
It was 6 hours away almost.
My first time in the state, my whole life was like end of December for the Cowboys Eagles game.
Yeah.
We went up to Philadelphia, Jersey, and you know, New York City was just slammed. Everybody's getting ready for the ball drop. So I feel like I got a very touristy visit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I never saw anything like outside of New York City, so I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
basically.
Yeah, upstate is wonderful. It's beautiful.
Yes.
A lot of great people up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like here, but they talk different.
Sure.
Yeah, it's the best way to describe it.
It really is.
Yeah,
That's a good way of explaining it.
I got some, there's some different, there's some different things, but it's really, it was easy for me to go there and make a lot of friends.
Yeah.
It was pretty easy.
Upstate is very much like even in New York City, there's a lot of good people.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not bad. I would never
It's
bash
just-
on a place I never haven't been. But
No, I know.
Yeah.
I could bash it. I
Yeah.
worked there long enough
Yeah.
and lived there and stuff.
that's why I
but-
brought you on. No, I'm kidding.
Here's your chance.
Nah, I'm not gonna bash it. I had a lot of good years there.
Sure.
So what are you doing now?
I'm a town councilman here in Clover, and I own a building in Clover. I'm looking to renovate it and rent it out.
What building is that?
You know where the Kirsch building is? Do you know where the new dentist office is in Main Street?
Yes.
All right, so you got the new dentist office, then you got the antique shop, then there's my building.
Really?
Yeah.
The with the apartments.
No, that's the one. That's the Kirsch building, all the way at the end. There's 5 buildings on that side of the block,
Oh, okay.
and the Kirsch is to the left, and the dentist is to the right. I'm right in the middle.
How'd you end up with that building?
I bought it.
Yeah. I mean, you just.
Someone was selling it, and I
Yeah.
bought it. I just knew somebody who knew that person was selling, and I'd spoken to them and bought it.
Wow.
Ideally speaking, what would you put in there?
Something that's going to attract people to Clover.
Sure.
Something that's going to make Clover interesting.
Right.
I tried to get the tattoo shop that it was the first one in York County.
Yeah.
Something like that. I want to.
Which
I
I
bought
will
it-
be visiting. Oh my gosh, I've had a bad itch. I love tattoos,
Yeah.
but it's been a very long time. And my Army buddy just got his first one the other day, and I was like, man, I can smell the ink while we're talking
Yeah.
about this. So thank you for that,
Yeah.
sincerely.
But something that's going to bring something to the town.
You
That's why I
flavor.
bought the building, for 2 reasons: to make money and to bring something to the town.
Sure.
Because I mean, you see how 55, 557 people are just leaving town to go to work. You know what I mean? Like there's got to be something that you could bring to town to keep some of those people from working outside of town.
That's only going to keep a small amount
Yeah.
of people working in town, like
Yeah.
1 or 2, 3, maybe. It's
Right.
nothing that's going to really build. We need factories for something like that,
That's what-
or buildings, office buildings. And I don't know if we want that
Right.
because the town will look completely different, and I didn't move down here for that. I moved
Exactly.
down for the way it is.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good to hear.
I'd like to have a little like mini tiny movie theater for special events.
You know what? Someone
what I
just
mean?
brought that
like
up to me.
they have
Yeah,
in New
dude.
York, the Sylvia.
The Sylvia Center.
Yeah, but that's closed, right?
I don't
It's
know.
it's limited use. So like I know in the summer times they'll have programs where like they'll let kids come in for free once a week and watch the new
Really?
kids movies and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I mean they do things, but it's not a charging venue. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, something nice and private like that. Do some.
Yeah, it's really probably not the right building for that.
It's not. Yeah, sure. We need something a little bigger, but
Yeah.
that would be me. I would be like, no, I don't care about the business. I want this to be a movie.
What are some of your ideas to bring?
Well, I'm looking for someone to rent. My ideas are kind of lame. They are.
There's no such thing as lame ideas.
No, like another bar, restaurant type thing, or but I don't have enough parking down there. I know the town is working on it. I'll put more parking downtown,
Sure.
or uptown. It depends who you talk to.
Which side of 50 or 321?
I'm on
you're
the
referring
south.
to? Yeah, yeah.
A gun store. Someone approached me for a gun store. I think that would do well here.
Sure. I think the we have Nichols in Rock Hill and Academy Sports, but I know the Carolina Sportsman recently closed down, and you know Nichols is about an hour from everybody.
Right.
So
Nichols is.
I know, but
probably
Nichols
would
is
do.
good.
Yeah.
It is good. It's very good. It's a great
Yeah.
store, but that would be. I think
They
that's
used
a
to
thing.
have one over there next to McCarter's, the barbecue, or not the barbecue, the haircutting place. There was a years ago. There was a gun store.
There was also a shooting range there as well.
really,
Yeah.
yeah. It was.
Dang, I used to
Ted's
just
or
do that
something.
around the back of those buildings.
Yeah.
It's like 2 or 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Guess that
Goodness
almost done.
gracious.
Just kidding.
But I'm interested. I would love to hear what people have to say and what they would like here, and see if anyone would approach me with it.
Sure.
Because, like let's say a bar restaurant. I don't know how to run a bar restaurant. I know this side of the bar. I don't
Yeah.
know that side of the bar.
Yeah,
I know how to
right,
drink,
right.
but I don't know how to make the drink.
To
Sure.
make it happen, you got the spot.
Or maybe like a VA, something like that. Someone approached me on that, and I would be interested in that.
You know, there are so many different things related to VA. That's a tough thing, man. Like I would hate to see, you know, the I think and I think this came up after the Veterans Committee meeting. Like it sucks that every veterans building ends up turning into a lounge basically for just old war stories. It's so unwelcoming to the outside public, and you know, I would love to see something that kind of bridges between those two communities.
It's hard. It's a
tough.
hard bridge because when you get into that talk, like we were talking before,
Mhm.
there's things you've seen I've never seen.
Sure.
And I can never put myself in your shoes.
Yeah, and I mean, and it sucks because I think until people are, because in the past that's the way it was. You had the VFW, and that's where like the veterans went to drink, and that's where they talked about their things, and then everybody else went somewhere else, and nobody ever interacted, and nobody healed for a whole generation of people. So like I think it's definitely possible to make something like that, you know,
Right.
and I would love to see that happen. You know,
I would, on Main Street would be great because then they can go to the other places
sure.
and shop and eat and drink too, not just there.
You need to, you know what it needs to be? It needs to be a go-go dancing club, and I'll be your first person. I'll be the veteran, so we can knock that off the list as well. And I do like,
Yeah, I'm sure the
half
churches
off.
would love it.
Yeah.
You know, I was Presbyterian, so I basically raised Presbyterian, so I already have a bounty on my head from every Methodist I've ever met.
Don't worry, I'm the redheaded stepchild. I was raised Catholic.
It was, man, yeah, it must be a northern thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think we should do that.
No. And you're not the only person. Other people have said it. Midget strippers too. And I'm like,
Wow.
I know, and they're not half price; they're double. Actually,
This
it's weird.
is starting to sound a lot like Fort Campbell. It's beautiful, terrible.
Oh
terrible
my
place.
goodness! All right, so how did you get into politics like that?
I never dreamed of getting into politics. I've always been interested in it. Again, where I lived was more left, and I'm more right. So I was constantly fighting the fight every day. And then I didn't want to fight the fight anymore. I just wanted to come down here and live my life, and I did.
Yeah.
But I got to know a lot of people around here, and my barber, which is Amy Moses, who's a council person, she asked me to run, and I thought about it, and I did. And then Bo Leg, who's our mayor, he was very into it too, and I talk to him every day. He's an excellent mayor, and he is very committed to the town, and I respect that. And actually, the mayor, the ex-mayor of where I left, the last town I lived in New York, she goes, "How come you never tried to do that here?" And I'm like, I didn't like the people as much.
Well, you know, I
I
think
would never do that for them.
you know this is not just my opinion. I know a lot of people share this, but I think a lot of the best people in politics are the people that didn't seek it out on their own. You know, it's I can understand. At this point in my life, I'm probably where you were before you ended up finding yourself in politics. Like I'm interested in it, and it's very important to a lot of people. But I'm sitting here thinking there's no way I'd ever do that.
Right.
But it's so healthy to have people that just care in these positions. And I know Bowleg, you know, personally. I know who Amy is, and like it makes me really happy. You know, this community is growing a lot, and there are people coming from new places like the north. I feel like we're in King's Landing, and you guys are up at the wall, and you're coming down, and it's great. But
I know.
you know, it's
some of
awesome
them
to
are
have.
a little rough.
Sure, but it's
I get in
also-
arguments with some of them.
Yeah.
with the other Northerners.
Yankees, yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it's great to have a person that's not like every other traditional native of the place. Like it's important to have our community represented. And there's you know, I don't know, there might be some towns close by that everybody's the same. They've been the community for 50 years, 5 generations,
Well,
and that's not good, man.
I go back to New York, and we have in New York, we're trained to think a certain way about Southerners, and they ask me those questions. Are they dumber? No, they're not dumber. No, not at all.
We may
Are
seem
they
like
sl-
it, but
No,
sometimes.
because you're nicer.
Sure.
So they look at niceness as dumbness
Sure.
or ignorance. Are they slow? No. I get a meal just as quick as any time I do up here in New York, sometimes quicker. And are they racist? Not nearly as racist as New York.
I was going to second that. When I went to, I mean, not going to bash the place, but
I've seen a lot. I got a stab mark over here for being a white guy in a black neighborhood. So
yeah, when I was up in New York, I did see a couple things that I was like, well, that's kind of 20 years behind where I just came from. I mean, nice people. There's not a lot of crazy stuff, but I've seen some backward things up in New York, to be honest with you, but whatever.
yeah, there is some interesting stuff. But you didn't even go in the city. There's
Yeah,
some
no.
it's real bad in the city. Like one of my daughters is Chinese, and during COVID, I was afraid I would never bring her to the city because they were going after Asian people
Wow.
in the city. They were breaking their windows and stuff like that, and it's like I can't have my daughters growing up around this. So that's
Why?
one of the reasons why I left.
I
One of
certainly
them, really.
don't feel so bad about being a Southeasterner. You know,
I mean, look, we're not. I love my experience up there and all the people, but yeah, it was some stuff I was like, you say some stuff like that back home, you're gonna get beat up.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
sure.
Like you can't just do people like that. But
I mean, it's funny. I have military people that'll come in and visit from all over the country. So far, we've had people from Minnesota, New York, New Jersey, you know, Virginia, all over, at least the Eastern Seaboard, really. But they come down here and they say the same thing. They're like, man, it's just not what I expected. That place is nice. And, you know, when I got out of the service, having a place like Clover and this kind of legitimate community to come back to, it was something that kept me above water, you know, where a lot of
That's great.
people failed.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't have something like this. I mean, this is a sleepy little town for the most of my life. It is bigger now, but
yeah,
you know, it really is a special place here.
So
It is.
Yeah.
It is fantastic place. The people here are unbelievable.
So, with the fact that the town and everything around it is growing like crazy, I mean, I know that you're kind of new to the area and don't. I guess you may have seen it growing, but what is that a topic that comes up a lot when y'all are talking about how that you see Charlotte coming towards us?
People do talk about it. So a lot of people, especially the older people, aren't that crazy about it.
Right.
I know I'm not that crazy about it. I didn't move down here for a poor man's version of where I came from,
Yeah,
and
sure.
that's what it's kind of like. And
Yeah.
I'm not that crazy about it. I moved here for Victoria's, for
Right.
Sure.
you
That's
know-
actually one of the places that every one of my people talks about. They're like, man, we gotta go back
know,
to
Oh, they have the
Victoria's."
best
Yeah.
breakfast. That
They
all-in-one
do.
breakfast is the
Yep.
best. I love that.
Shout out to you guys, Victoria's. Jeez.
James, you know what you
Jason.
Jason, you know what you sold today?
What?
That hot ham and cheese at South Main.
Oh yeah, you had it.
Yeah, I went and got it.
Yeah, I eat constantly in Clover.
Yeah.
People always want, hey, well, why don't we go to York? I'm like, no, I'm just gonna stay in Clover.
Yeah.
You can go there, have fun.
You know, all we need is like a Fazoli's, fast food Italian, and a sushi bar, and we're set. I'll never
yeah.
leave the town ever again,
Nah,
ever.
Yeah.
fast food Italian. Come on.
Cheap Italian and a sushi bar is what I need.
One of my friends down here, he's like, yeah, I eat Italian all the time. Olive Garden. I'm like, that ain't friggin' Italian, you doozy
Yeah.
bastard.
Yeah, it is.
Stupid in the head. Sorry.
We're having we have a hard time with the Italian, man. Like
Yeah.
I guess everybody can't be as blessed. Like my family cooks hardcore. My mom was one of 12 kids, and you know, from a very young age, she fed a large number of people. You know, we've always had buddies out here working on the farm when I was growing up, so like food for the masses. But like, even for the masses, her spaghetti is just so much better than anything you can pay for within 50 miles. And
Okay.
I'd like to go pay for
I don't know.
some really
My
good
wife's a
spaghetti.
pretty damn good cook.
I need to come meet your wife's
Yeah,
spaghetti, man. That's my
she
jam.
cooks really good Greek food, which is
Okay.
hard to cook. It's very hard to cook Greek food, and she cooks it really well.
Really?
Yeah, we celebrate Greek. Like I said, I'm a quarter Greek, and we celebrate Greek Easter. It's more her celebrating it than me.
Greek
Sure.
Easter. What is that
Yeah,
like?
We have different types of food. It's different, but it's really the same.
On Easter?
It
Or is it a
varies.
separate day?
It's a separate day, but
Okay.
this year it fell on this past one fell on the same day.
And you're celebrating the resurrection?
I guess I don't even.
I don't know. I'm
I know, but I don't even know either.
yeah, it's just a
Look,
food thing.
When Jesus comes out of that cave, he wants Greek chicken wings, and he wants them ready to roll.
Yeah.
Is it a euro?
Yeah. So, what is your favorite Greek dish? Traditional Greek dish?
Just something simple like spanakopita. You know, those are the triangle things with the spinach in the middle.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Very
that's I love those if they're made right.
good. Sure.
But I've had it made. I've been to Greece too. If you ever want to have great food, Greece is the best food I've ever had. Everywhere I went to it Fridays. What?
He was telling me about his food in Afghanistan last week. He ate a monkey brain.
Pretty much, basically.
Oh, really?
No,
goat, and it was
Well,
gross.
this is cool. Y'all are talking about international food here. This is
Yeah,
awesome.
man.
Well, in New York, I worked in Astoria, Queens, and there's a street called Steinway Street. If you ever heard of Steinway pianos,
Sure.
they're
Yeah,
made on this
absolutely.
street. It's the most ethnically diverse street in the world.
Hmm.
When I walk down that street, I used to have to say hello in like 10 different languages. I'd be like, Shalom, or Guten Tag, Assalamu Alaikum. You know, like
Right.
just to show respect for everyone. You just try to
Right.
learn their language just to show a little respect, even if it's a few words.
Yeah.
You know, and they love that. It goes a long way. And so I ate camel there.
Oh, yeah, awesome.
I had camel there.
camel,
Yeah.
but I'm not surprised. There's some weird streets down in everywhere in the world. So I'm
Right,
sure
but
there's
this
some crazy
street,
dishes.
like you can
Yeah.
get camel on.
That's
It's like-
wild.
yeah, it's
What does
cool.
it taste like?
It's like a dry chicken burger.
I knew chicken was going to be in that.
It's like dry. I didn't like it.
It
too
tastes
much.
like horse a little bit.
Yeah, well, it's crazy because they store water so well. I would not expect it to be a dry meat. You know,
Yeah.
like a bad joke.
but
That was
Oh
funny.
man.
It's a dad joke.
no, yeah, man, I'm full in on my dad bod. I've got my father figure, and I'm full of dad jokes. My
All right,
kids are
let's
just so
let's hear your
embarrassing.
best one. Your go-to.
I can't say my best jokes. I'll probably okay. I have to set this up. My wife is very tolerant of me. And I set up my stepson to set her up the other day. And I picked up my stepson and my daughter, and they're like, every now and then, they're like, Dad, try to make me laugh. And I'm like, how hard? And they're like, go hard. And I was like, okay, how much do you kids know about Helen Keller? And
Oh man,
This is gonna be great.
It's already funny.
oh yeah, and I mean it's tough. They're in too soon. It's gonna be the first words after these jokes. But so I'm sitting in the car with the kids. I got one boy, one girl, and I'm like, well, who do you guys know about Helen Keller? Right? What she's known for? And they're like, yeah, she couldn't hear, speak, see anything. And I'm like, well, did you guys know that she had a dog? And they're like, no. I'm like, that's all right. Neither did she. And it took them a second to dawn on them. So I carry on with some other Helen Keller joke. Probably another fun fact you guys might not know. Like, you guys know kids get in trouble and stuff. Do you know what her parents did when she got in trouble? And they're like, no. I'm like, well, they would give her a basketball to read while they rearranged the furniture.
Oh no!
And the kids are just like, oh, this is terrible. And finally, I this is like the punchline on it. And so I was like, so most important thing about Helen Keller, you guys know why she couldn't drive? And they're like, why? Some stupid dumb blind reason? No, she was a woman.
Oh
And,
my God! That's
So
funny.
we got back to the house, and Wyatt told his mom that without all the other buildup.
Yeah.
And she was like, Wyatt! And I'm like, oh, nope, that's my fault. That's my fault. I was
Wow.
dadding gone wrong.
That's great.
But yeah, I love being a dad. I have to be creative.
Yeah.
Too
So,
soon.
how many kids do you have?
Two daughters.
Now you said she's Chinese. Is she adopted?
Yeah.
Okay.
I bought it from Temu. Yeah.
Nice.
So is this the older or younger child?
The younger one.
Awesome.
He's in 8th grade, and my other one's in 9th.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What do they get into? I mean, kids are also completely different.
Yeah, they're different. The younger one, her name's Lily, and she reads a lot.
Mm-hmm.
She loves to read.
That's my thing. I love my Stephen King.
Yeah, she reads anything. And Cora's my older one. She's into like her friends and, certain programs and animals. She loves animals. And we have a lizard, 2 turtles, snake, 3 cats, 4 dogs, and 3 chickens. So she's like loving life.
Yeah, like Noah's Ark going on. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very broad variety of animals.
Yeah,
Cool.
and now we want to. She wants to get a capybara.
Oh yeah, the little huggable guys.
Yeah, they're like rodents, but they're the biggest rodent.
They're like little
this-
teddy bears on feet. They're the
I'm gonna have to.
I'm not saying it. I never say it right. Capybara.
capybara.
Capybara, yeah.
Capybara. I'll pull this up and I'll post it for you guys. So
Yeah.
you can see this cutest
check it
animal in
out.
the
She
world.
wants one, and she's such an animal lover.
Yeah.
She works for Ashley. She does what's the name of that? It's on 55. It's a charity that helps people who need help.
Out going towards the high school.
Yes.
It's the
Not towards the high school. Actually, I'm sorry. Coming from here, going towards the middle school, onto the left. Oh my God! I was just looking at it today. I can't think of the name of it, but Wendy Schoenfeld runs it, and it's got horses.
Yeah.
She works there and does volunteering there.
Really?
Yeah, she loves it.
Oh my goodness. Look at that.
Cover
They're
there.
adorable, man.
They are.
They really are.
It's
Aren't-
like
so-
a little puppy rat.
Yeah, they're native to, I think it's one of the very few, like, teeny tiny islands and has no natural predators on it. So they have no fear of anything.
They don't have. Yeah, they
It's,
don't. They'll like go
very
on the back
unique.
of an alligator and then be like, doo-doo.
Yeah. It's a really crazy animal.
We ought to
Um,
make a child's movie about that. That'd be great.
There probably is one. If not, I will pretend to be a capybara. If
Yeah.
I have to
Yeah.
put that camera to work.
Yeah, we're gonna do it.
Yeah. So we might get one of those.
Yeah, awesome.
Dude, I love your property, by the way. I
thanks.
see the pictures you post. I'm like, wow. that dude's
Oh, it's
great.
my dog pooping. Yeah. Usually it's like, oh, it's a beautiful day in Clover, and I have this little dog, Waffles,
Awesome.
it's French bulldog,
Excellent.
and it's her pooping, and people are always looking for it. And They're always asking me about it too. When
Sure.
when am I going to get another Waffles picture of her pooping? I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Right. I mean, come out and wait. You might see it.
Yeah,
You know,
she's
that's
a little-
wild.
When I was in the parade, the Christmas parade, and I'm walking Waffles in there, and I just hear people yelling from both sides, Waffles,
Wow.
Waffles.
That's
like they don't
awesome.
even know me. They just know Waffles. They know my friggin'
You
dog.
made your dog famous.
They're so much better than us. Animals are so much
they
better than
are.
people, regardless. You know.
It's a lot of fun with the dogs. And
Sure.
and then I have 3 Great Danes too.
That's right.
Yeah, Grandma, Grandpa, and Peanut. Yeah,
3 Great Danes. Wow.
they're good. They're easy. The Waffles is more of a pain in the ass.
It's your profile picture too, right?
Well, no, I have her face on my because everyone wants. I was at brick and mortar one time talking to my friend Ralph. So a lady comes over. She's, "Excuse me, are you Waffles' dad?" I'm like, "Get the hell out of here!" I just start laughing.
Yeah.
I'm like, "This is hilarious." She don't know me. She just knows Waffles.
How long after you moved to Clover did that start happening?
We got Waffles. She's 3 now, so we got her 2.5 years ago. So we haven't had her that long.
And in that short amount of time, she's already a local celebrity. That's awesome.
Yeah, I always post her on Facebook. It would start out with me yelling at her to get in the house. Waffles, get in the fucking house.
Right.
'Cause I have a funny accent.
Sure.
People get a kick out of it. And then at South Main, one of the owners, Kathy, she'd made me a T-shirt that says "fucking Waffles" with a picture of Waffles on here. And I'm like, I didn't even know this was a thing. Like, you
It
guys
is
talk
now.
about this when I'm not around? I'm like, what the-
Yeah, that's awesome. Dude.
Yeah, it's fun. It's just a fun thing. And then I try to use it to promote places. Like I got her shampooed. There's a place right by the Mexican place here. What is that place called?
El Mexicano?
El Mexicano.
Pause, and I know what you're talking about.
Yes.
It's,
and I brought them and I took photos. Hey, this is where.
Waffles
And people
gets
were
it.
asking me about it. And it's like, all right, maybe we can get them more business. So I'm trying to use it to get more
You do
business.
a really
here.
good job on your Facebook stuff. Huh?
Well, I try to share the businesses. As a council person, I feel I have 3 different entities I represent: the people of Clover, the businesses of Clover, and the people who work for Clover.
Sure.
And I take that seriously.
Yeah, you do a good job, and that's what stood out. I've been stalking your page for a few days. I knew I was going to get you on here, and I had a couple of people. Matt was going to come on tonight, and he wasn't able to make it, but I hit this guy up, and he was taking a nap or something.
I was.
I've been sick all day, and I took on the way here. I chugged some Dayquil.
Yeah.
It wasn't Dayquil; it was Nyquil.
He's
So I had to go get a coffee before I came here.
Now, was it one of our local Clover establishments that you got your coffee?
I got it from the not Circle K. It's something called now Marathon.
Yeah, Marathon.
Yeah, I saw.
They
I
have
call it
pretty
Circle
decent
K.
coffee. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, and I was fine with that. I usually go to brick and mortar.
Sure.
I love that place. I know the people there. The people there are great.
I'm very happy. So we went to school with Margaret, and I know she was, and also probably Carly as well. They've just been overwhelmed by the town support, and that's such a good thing to have. Like, we're too busy. You know what I mean? That is an excellent problem to have. So, you're talking about having your new space, man. Somebody put up something in there. Like, this town is very responsive to that, and it.
I spoke to
more of it's
Carly
been
at
great.
one time, but I wasn't ready, and I'm still not ready. I had an architect who took forever, and then he died. Yeah, which sucked. He was a great guy. Forget my building. He was a great guy, and then his partner finished it up, sent it to me, and now I'm getting pricing on it. It's just taking forever. Like, being a contractor in New York, things move a little quicker.
Well, maybe some of these like brick and mortar and the KB Bakery. I hope that's encouraging for people when you have it ready for something new. Because again, this town we're just like kind of. It seems kind of like everybody's just waiting for that next big thing.
Yeah,
and we're
it's
just a lot more supportive.
It's bubbling. I've only been back since November, and I'm feeling it. Like I feel the vibe around town.
If you go down at 12 o'clock in the afternoon in Clover, and then you go 12 o'clock in the afternoon in York, you'll see how many more people we have in our downtown.
Sure.
And we got a tougher downtown in the sense of we got 321 going down it and 55 across the dam. It's still a good amount of people circulating. You go to York, it's like tumbleweeds.
That place you got is like the perfect location. They need something there.
I know. I just want to make it interesting. I don't just want it to just be anything. I even went to TGK. I never say it right. I went there. There's a deli there, TGK Deli, and the guy is from New York or New Jersey or whatever. He's got a good deli. I left my card there. I was hoping to get that deli here. That would put us. There's no delis around here.
Right.
That's the closest deli I could find around
Sure.
here. Let's get a deli here. That would be something interesting.
Somewhere to get.
I'm gonna hold out for that Fazoli's, man.
What is that?
That's that drive. It's a drive-through Italian place in like Indiana, in the
No.
Midwest. Yeah, it's so
Survey
good.
says,
It's
no.
better than
He
Olive
says
Garden.
That's not coming in
No.
there.
That's true. It's better than Olive Garden. That's all that
Forget
matters.
about it.
What was how did you first start getting involved in Clover? Like when you touched down, what was the first thing you did?
Went to the bars and restaurants.
Yeah.
And that's where I started getting to know people. Courtney's, South Main, Water Tank, Last Call. Went to those places, circulated around, and just started getting to know people. And it was very easy. Here is very easy. You guys going up there wouldn't be as easy. But me coming down here, you're very welcoming people, very nice people. You're good people, so it's easy.
Yeah. So, and who would you say some of the key people you met right away? They encouraged you to get into the politics.
Oh, into the politics,
Yeah.
or let's see, that was Amy Moses was the first one.
Yeah.
Like I said, Bo Leg, and then my friends, my friend Heath, my friend Mike, just people around me. Even Gene Courtney, was into it as well, and he's been great helping me out anywhere he can. South Main, Rick and Kathy,
Yeah.
they were very behind me on it. They helped me the whole way. They were fantastic. Just people here are great.
Wow. And I want to get back on that topic of Charlotte coming this way. Like, what has been some of the conversations about how to either A, help that, or B, stop that? Like,
It's not something I can really control.
right.
It's going to happen whether, whatever I have to say or not. It's just a growth thing. It's just like where I lived in Westchester. You had New York City and everything. You had Long Island, you had Westchester County. It all changed over the years. And there's no way you can't fight it. It's going to
You
happen.
can just move further out this way, and that's all you can do, and hope it doesn't hit you by the time you're dead.
You're good, yeah.
It is a reality.
Yeah. I'm going to be in, by Spartanburg before you know it.
Sure. I mean, 200 years from now, we're going to be like that Judge Dredd movie with like the mega towers, because they're going to have to start going up. I mean,
That's why I was
outrageous.
in the stair business. I was like, look, the stairs is a good business to be in because they're just going to build up. You know what I mean?
Eventually, yeah.
Well, it's an up and down business.
Yeah.
Sorry, I went with
That
a dad
was a
joke.
dad joke.
That's a dad
There
joke.
we go.
Jeez.
There we go. That's awesome.
Yeah, I tell my daughters really, much worse jokes than that because
Oh, sure.
I want them to hear it from me first.
That's a big mentality I also share with my kid, and every now and then she'll catch me off guard and be like, "Where did you hear that, dude?" She goes, "I heard it from you." I'm like, "No, you didn't."
I learned it from watching you, Dad. It's
yeah.
like that drug commercial in the
Yep.
80s. Oh,
Listen,
right.
I had when my daughters were little, I was changing my baby girl's diaper. I said, "Ooh, Emily, you smell like shit." And my 2-year-old was sitting there next to me. She goes, "Ooh, you said a bad word." I said, "No, I was like, uh-oh." I said, "No, I didn't." She goes, "You said fuck." I was like, "No, I didn't. I said shit." Damn
No,
it."
is this the one who had a birthday? Today?
No, this is my oldest daughter that had a birthday.
Okay.
That I had with Jennifer in
Okay.
high school. She turned 20
That's
today.
wild.
Oh my god,
That's wild in and of itself.
that's crazy. I'm like, how come every time you have a birthday, I feel way older? It's crazy. 20 years old,
Yeah.
dude.
I just hit 10 with mine Friday, and
And
that
then I
still
got
was a landmark.
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, goes by so quickly.
It's crazy. Now, are you doing any engineering or anything?
No.
You're just full time.
Yeah, I have free time because I'm basically retired, but not really. I'm gonna find something. I'm trying to buy real estate,
Yeah,
but I'm trying to do it in a slow manner. Whatever feels right.
Sure.
nice.
That seems to be the vibe down here. The opportunities usually.
I know. I just like I said, I bought that building for 2 reasons: make money and do something
Bring
right
a
for
little something
Clover.
back.
Yeah, but I just got to find that right thing for my building. Something that's going to fit there. And the parking is a problem there. Like I said, we're addressing it. We're talking about it a lot, and
Yeah.
we're looking at different spots. And we have new town administrator, Zach Lester.
I met him the other day.
Yeah, he's really good. He's been fantastic with that, talking about it. Very easy to talk to.
Yeah, he came from Charlotte or something.
He worked in Charlotte, but he's from Clover, Lake Wally area.
Yeah.
Him and his, probably know Kippen, his wife,
I think so.
Kippen Lester. She's a realtor.
Oh,
She's fantastic.
Yeah.
They're all very good people. I used to work with Kippen briefly
did
after
you?
I got back, and I've known her since way past, way before that. Zach, I think, graduated with my sister.
Really?
So he's not. They're not that far ahead of us.
No.
Very big in the community though. Zach's a
Oh,
great
yeah.
dude, and so is Kippen's wonderful.
So, now with these veteran meetings you were doing, they're gonna have more.
We had one.
Yeah.
We had one veteran meeting. Bo started the Veterans Committee just this past January, and we had our first one in February, and we're gonna have another one March 3rd. The first one went very well.
It's I was shocked at the turnout for
We
a first
expected
time.
10 people,
Yeah, for a first time meeting.
including the people that were there.
The board, right? No,
yeah,
that was
and
great.
there was about 30, 40 people.
Mhm.
Wow.
Which was fantastic because he's been trying to start a committee here for a while for the veterans. And after this last Veterans Day and we didn't do anything, I started yelling at him. I break his balls.
Yeah.
That's just who I am. And I was like,
And he takes it very well.
Oh, he's
He's
fantastic.
great.
Well,
He's great.
Side story: a friend was watching him and I talk at South Main in the back of South Main. Bo and I talking, and he's like, Jason, Bo is so Southern, and you're so not, and you communicate just fine. We do. We communicate very well.
Gimli and Legolas, basically. You guys, that's it. That's y'all.
But so I was really upset that we didn't do anything for our veterans. They tried to do a little something, but come on. I'm like, Bo, I don't want to live in a town. I'm going to move if we're not going to do anything for our veterans. So he got on it. He lit a fire under his ass, and he really got it together. He's been running with it, and I'm hoping it's going to go somewhere. I'm hoping
Just by the response alone, I think it really does have the potential. I mean, I was very surprised at that. You were telling us when we were kind of first getting together this evening, there was a guy who hadn't left his.
He hasn't left his house in like 3 years.
Came out just to be a part of that.
Yes. I found that out a couple of weeks after the meeting, and I was like, wow, this guy barely leaves his house, and he came to that meeting.
Wow.
Yeah. So we need to get that going. We need to back that and make sure it happens. As a council person, I can only be a part of it so much, but they're the people who are running it. I think will really get it going, and plus the outside people like yourself will really make it blow up into something. If I live in the town that has the best veterans committee, that's the town I want to live in.
Well, I mean, we got the national champion Air Force JRTC program at Clover High.
Do we?
Yeah, absolutely. They, I think it was this past year, they had some big major competition, first place.
Oh,
So, I mean,
great.
it's we have a pretty heavy.
Yeah, I've heard they've blown up since I was there for sure.
That's fantastic. There's three entities that got me where I am today. It's God, my parents, and my veterans. That's how I'm here sitting in this chair living the way I get to live. So I believe in that.
It's definitely something that's easy to get in, support because there's so much that community can give back as well.
Yes.
Like I know I was just thrilled to be able to tie some of the projects that I'm working on to possibly put them in front of all these kids, having a different perspective. Like, oh my gosh, man, how many kids in our high school are not going to have the scholarships for grades or athletics or whatnot? Right now, just one conversation with one of us can have them have an entire life path that will set them ahead of their peers.
Right.
So really a good way to elevate just by connecting. So I'm very happy to see that. I'm very proud of you guys for taking that initiative.
Well, we have to. What am I doing here? I'm in Clover, South Carolina. the stuff back in New York, they were doing a better job with the veterans. No, I'm in Clover, South Carolina.
Sure.
You know, I want Clover to be known for backing their veterans. That's an important thing we need to recognize. It makes for a better community.
Yeah. Because when I was in upstate New York, I was right next to Fort Drum, big military base, and I got a big dose of the military life, outside of the military. I've got to know the people themselves and their families, and then I started thinking about Clover. I'm like, man, I wasn't aware that it was, how big of a community thing it would be. And then when I got to talking to him about it, I'm like, yeah, I mean, I didn't serve, but I know people who did really well, and I'd like to help out and be a part of that. I'd like
Right.
that back in our community, be supporting veterans and everything, because there's some stuff that goes on with these folks, and they're right here in our community, and they need that, and they need that support, with friends and just to be recognized.
They need to be put on a pedestal.
Yeah.
They really do.
Absolutely.
We instead of having these athletes or this or these politicians, our veterans need to be put on a pedestal.
Man, y'all are making me like, I'm about to go leave the room. I hate this. I'm
Yeah.
gonna start squirming, man. So it's funny. I appreciate this. Anytime I interact with somebody and the service does come up, like that's the general consensus from people. And I think that, for a lot of people, that's very good. I know when we spoke more, with my interview was very, very directly about that. That was a very big focus of it. And it's kind of like, Band of Brothers TV show pops off. 2 days later, 9/11 happens. That encouraged all of us to enlist. I enlist out of a sense of patriotism and a lack of understanding of the institution that it also was. So then when I started realizing that, I now struggle with feelings that it's really strange when you think of the movie Star Wars or the series Star Wars, and you realize that your part in that movie was one of the guys in the white suits that couldn't hit anything with the blaster, at first that was and I imagine for a lot of other veterans, I imagine they still struggle with that, which is great to see the community embracing those people as they're transitioning into that. Over time, I've also come to understand or feel more that even though I was a stormtrooper, that supported all of these things and these freedoms that myself, my kids, our community can enjoy. So it's part of that cost, but I couldn't, again, when I got out, I had this place to come back to and everybody else didn't. So it just, again, it makes me really feel good for people like that dude that came out and showed up. Like I'm sure that he really will take a lot out of that. So it's
Good.
It's a
I hope
great
so.
great thing to be to build in a community. So many things, man. Clover is just exceptional. Our music, our sports, our ROTC, just the high school alone. Jay Forrest and what he's done with the Coraliers and what he's given to all those kids. It's a really special place here.
Yeah.
Can't say it enough.
No, this is a great community. I got fortunate, that I found this place. There's so many towns in America, and I wake up every morning and I'm like, today's my best day till tomorrow because I woke up in Clover, South Carolina.
It makes me happy to hear, man.
I love
This is
it.
a special place. Yeah,
I never said that in New York.
Sure, man.
So, is there any policies or anything that that has actively that has changed since you've came into office?
Nothing.
Or I could tell you're conservative, so I don't know. Are you shy about trying to make any changes, or are you just like really trying to?
I'm still learning.
And because
I'm still learning. I've only been in the position like 6 or 7 months. So there's a lot of learning I need to do. And I'm learning from the other council people as well as the mayor. But we'll just like things like more parking, supporting our businesses.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to get, we need to support our businesses,
Well,
our local businesses here, the brick and mortars. I love the food trucks, but not when they're taking away from our brick and mortars.
right.
Those are, because the food truck could go somewhere else.
Sure.
The brick and mortar has to pay the taxes here. They have to keep it going. We have to help them. But I do.
I didn't think of it that way.
Yep.
I really didn't.
Well,
Same.
the business I worked in New York, I owned part of the business. And so I take that owner's stance as, all right, I put myself in their shoes. How would I feel if I had a sandwich place and there was a sandwich cart right outside? I wouldn't be too happy.
Sure.
So I try to, even now, I put myself in the sandwich cart. Look, they got plenty of business. I could take some of the business too. As long as there's plenty of business.
Go up to Old New Center, right? Put up over there where they need more sandwiches.
Yeah.
And there are no sandwich
So,
shops.
example, my dad was the wastewater treatment plant manager in Clover. And when he retired, it's a small example, but it really makes you think of like local economy. I got gas in Gastonia or York, somewhere. And because I used his credit card back when we were teenagers. And he said, where did you get gas at? I told him. He said, if you're going to buy gas, you're going to buy it in Clover. You're going to spend your money in Clover. I was like, it kind of stuck with me. I was like, I got in trouble for buying gas outside of town.
Well, it's
but
probably good
it
that you
makes
did.
sense.
Yeah.
Like, I get it now.
Yeah, you support your town. I get mine at Killian's.
Yeah.
I love those guys there.
That's cool. Right? I want to get those guys on the podcast. Somebody from there.
We would have to have this whole room with one big table because every single person at Gillian's is a personality.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, they're
man.
great guys.
They
are
all the
great
way
guys.
to top to bottom, they are.
Wow. Yeah, I honestly, I drive an electric car, but
Did you just come out of the closet to us?
listen. I sold.
I've been waiting
Hondas.
for him for
Listen,
months.
I sold Hondas, and Honda gave their employees a humongous like rebates and stuff. I got like 15 grand for leasing the Prologue because they weren't selling it, and now that includes the tax credit. But they gave us a whole bunch of money because they weren't selling them, the employees. So there's like me and 7 other sales guys. I'm not an electric guy. It was just a great deal. I'm a deal guy.
Yeah. Yep.
But, and now I just charge at work, dude. I'll just blow past the gas stations.
I just want to know, do you put your hair in a hair bun and get a craft beer after you drive your electric
Dude,
car?
these curls they make me jealous, man. I'm not
I got a bald spot. That's why I wear a hat.
I've got a receding hairline that just keeps crawling further.
Yeah, I'm jealous too. He's got nice hair.
Yeah.
Man.
No, I don't do none of that.
One of these
other
days
electric car thing. You know what the
one
funny
of these
thing
days
was?
you'll be at
Let's
Gillian's.
go with it. My electric car. Reason I'm driving the Accord right now, the battery won't charge anymore. Big problem. Warranty issue. Took it up to Gastonia. Guy says, now I'm going to use a name that I may fake, but I'm not really sure, so don't get mad at me, Gastonia.
Perfect.
The guy's checking me into the service center. Now I work at a dealership. This service center is awesome. They're pulling me in, checking me on the iPad. Like, this is crazy cool. He goes, I said, this light right here is on, and my battery's not charging. He goes, a lot of service techs never seen a Prologue.
Sure.
And he goes, hey, Dave, come here. Dave comes over there. He said, Dave, you ever seen a light like that in your car? Dave goes, because Dave's got one. Dave goes, yes, I've seen that before. I was like, no.
That's funny.
No.
He's also a psychic.
Yeah. I said, come on, man. I was
That's
like,
awesome.
I got to tell the whole world about this.
Yep.
Electric cars are gay, okay?
And that's okay. It's 2025.
Yeah.
I'm not judging you.
Yeah.
I'm just, calling it as it is.
Yeah, we just want to make sure. I like women big time. Anyways,
No, oh my God, it's just getting deeper and deeper.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
just trying to justify it.
This is actually where I'm
Okay.
starting to thrive. We're at the
I like
weirder
your
stuff.
sweater, by the way.
I was actually wearing it's funny, one of the last memories I have in this sweater was actually watching the new Magic Mike movie with my wife.
Man, what?
It was the day we
Come on, we're gonna have to cut.
No, it was the day I proposed, and that, and I think it's called not the cabin in the woods. Knock at the cabin.
Knock at the door.
Yeah, something like that with Dave Bautista.
It was it was Shyamalan movie.
Yeah, and it was great. But those two movies, Magic Mike 3 or whatever it was, and that came out. So
She had no choice. You had her all hot and bothered.
well, it's funny. She actually thought I was faking. She thought I was like Jim and Pamming her from The Office, and she thought I was faking the proposal at the Bilt. I mean, I drove her all the way to Biltmore in Asheville. It was a great time. Got down and I proposed in a little green sweater, and I look up and I've got the ring in my hand, and she's just the biggest mean face, and I'm like. Now I'm backpedaling like, oh gosh, is she gonna say no? So anyways, she did say yes, and she's like, well, what are we gonna do now? It was like 2 degrees, and I was like, let's go watch Magic Mike, babe. This is your night. And she was like, what?
Hell.
Well, the next morning we had to go see my movie, which we did.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, so I should have probably borrowed your Prologue for that trip.
Yeah.
With my nice green sweater.
I have a Ram, so I'm good.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe you should have gave her like a strip tease to get the.
Oh no, I need to lose like 15 more pounds before I ever do that again.
I've been killing that Y in the morning too. By the way,
Yeah,
man, I boxed last year in March and I gained like 50 pounds. After I was like, yeah, I'm done, dude. I'm sitting on the couch again.
Oh no,
and then all of a sudden I just went. I said, dang, dude, that's crazy. 50 pounds, that's crazy. But.
With her being pregnant, there's no chance of me losing any weight anytime soon.
No. When the wife here, finish this.
Yeah.
I boxed a Canadian last year in New York, a Canadian real estate guy. Smoked him.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. It was awesome, dude. I'm in the ring and they're chanting USA. It was the coolest feeling in the world.
Kind of like that hockey game recently.
Yeah. Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah,
it was cool. I had been on every TV station, every radio station, just playing the whole Rocky thing.
Yeah.
With my boxing coach, who was the promoter also. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a car salesman. But this guy was also a boxing coach, and he had done fought twice. I hadn't boxed since 2011.
Sure.
And he had already fought twice that year. And I'm like, yeah, dude, to me, if I was that guy, I would beat me up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I've I got some experience in the ring. That was my 12th time in the ring, so I don't know how many times he's done it, but I know he went full speed 2 times right before he fought me, so he's way better shape. Anyway, so I blew this whole thing up. Everybody's streaming it back home, and I'm telling you the story because there's a guy up in New York. He's fighting the same guy. Just called me this evening asking about the fight or whatever, and so we sell out the whole. It's JCC. It was a college basketball court, gym or whatever, and we sell the whole place out. My whole dealership's there. Everybody in town that I know is there. It's crazy. I see the guy. I'm like, all right, he's a little bit shorter than me, but he's swole, And he was kind of nice. He said hello when we first met, and then when it was time to fight, man, I was up in the back. I'm punching the pads. I'm like, I can't breathe. I'm like, don't have the cardio for this. But I'm kind of a smart fighter, I know that if I touch you, that's the point. I was like, I'm going to bore everybody to death because I'm going to point fight this guy. I cannot throw combinations or I'll gas out.
Mm-hmm.
So I went, just the nerves, dude, it was crazy. And I've done this a million times, but every time it's terrible.
Yeah. Fresh
so I get ready to go in there. We're getting our gloves on. We're wearing headgear too, so they put your headgear on. And he looks at me and gives me this stink look. I'm like, oh man, okay. Then he called me out, and I step in that ring, dude. I was like, it all went away. I've never been so clear-headed. I was like, I'm gonna smoke this dude. I came across and just beat on him for 3 rounds, and it was crazy. USA, it was the hypest. I was like, yeah,
that's awesome.
It was really cool. I'll find it on YouTube and send it to you. But it's pretty cool, man. Left out of there with a trophy, defended America.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and now it's kind of relevant that I beat up a Canadian because they're about to be our 51st date. But
so they need some new politicians for their 51st day, man. It's too far north now. We already got you down here, so I'm not going to send you back. I'll go.
No, I'm not going back.
I'll volunteer for the wall.
You're really liking it though, the city council gig.
I'm liking it. Yeah. It's a little confusing at times.
Yeah. With responsibilities or
Just like we get a packet on Thursday for Monday's meeting, and going through that packet, I have to call other council people like, wait, where'd this stem from? Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'll have to do with, let's say, the police.
yeah.
So I'll call the police chief and I'll ask him about it. Why do you need 3 cop cars? You're
Yeah.
asking for 3 cop cars. What about this? Da, 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 da. And he'll give me a good answer, and then I'll talk to another councilman, and I'm like, "This is the answer he gave me. It sounds good." Da, da, da. You know, it's a lot of research in that sense.
And that's pretty much the job, right?
It is.
Kind of fact check.
It's just, well, making sure it's right for the people.
right, right.
I don't want to spend money, like crazy here. But again, I'm like that was in my first few months. We need 3 cop cars.
Mhm.
So basically, I told him, I'm giving you the 3 cop cars now, but next time you better give me more information on why you need a cop car.
yeah,
Especially when we got dead cop cars in the back, because you can't drive those. There's a lot of laws and stuff. Like this one has a broken transmission, and to fix it is going to cost this much money. And we're better off just getting another one instead of putting good money into bad stuff like
Have
that.
you
But
told them they should buy Chevys?
yeah, we always tell them to buy from you guys. We always tell them to buy from you guys.
Yeah.
I have a Mahindra. I do.
Really?
Yeah, the only problem with the Mahindra is the guy driving it. Yeah, I've tipped it over. I've gotten
No
stuck
way.
in mud. Yeah, it was my fault. Every time my fault. I'll say that all over. But they're great. It's great. I love my Mahindra.
I'm actually going to go next door. I don't sell the tractors per se, but
I know.
I'm going to go over there and do some stuff for online with them and try to get some stuff stirred up and sell some more for them and get some leads at least. Put them
Yeah.
out there a little better.
We just bought a new tractor, and we said, I called up Googe.
Yeah.
It's like, did you go? And then
Yeah.
because we need a 4-wheel drive, and they didn't have a 4-wheel drive Mahindra,
Yeah.
so he got a John Deere, I believe it was. But that's the conversations you have.
Yeah,
And you
that's
call a guy
awesome.
like that and try to get the best thing and try to buy local.
Yeah.
Always try to buy local. Like some of our people still haven't gotten it yet. Buying local, like they'll get sandwiches for a party. They'll go to Publix.
Sure.
Like, why are you going to Publix? Why are you going all the way there? We could get sandwiches here in town.
Right.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
So
I
stuff like
so
that.
You got the right.
Mentality.
Yeah.
Me and both of it, Bo and I, both agree on that. Like we talk about that a lot. Buying local, do things local, everything local.
Town first where you can.
Yes.
Yep.
Clover first. That was on my signs when I was running. Clover first,
Nice.
and I stick by that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I got the waffles tattoo. If I win town council, I'm gonna get a tattoo of waffles. I think that got me like 10 more votes.
So have you taken Waffles tubing yet?
No, I don't.
Do you know about tubing?
No.
I know this is something I didn't even know about this. So I got maybe 5 years after I've been back from the military. If you go up to Sutton Road off of 77, you can put in at the dam there on that exit. And it's like a 4-hour float down with little inner tubes. You can tie off, put a cooler on it.
Where the river walk and everything is?
Yeah, and you come right out at Pump House at the Riverwalk.
Wow.
It's a great, fun, local,
I
relatively
think
local.
I've seen that, but
Oh, dude, you go out there on a Saturday in the summertime, and there's thousands of people with the big, like, inflatables the size of this room with little motors and partying, and it's all good times. Just, it took me way too long, so I want to make sure y'all don't sleep on that. That's a
Yeah.
great time down here,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I think like this area. I mean, obviously I've only been to one other place in the world, but Clover area around Charlotte is like probably one of the best places in the world. I mean, you got the beach that way,
The mountains that way.
the mountains that way,
Charlotte.
and I know it sounds bad, but I was going to say it's usually far enough away from the coast, from the hurricanes.
Sure.
But this time it obviously
are,
wasn't.
yeah.
But usually it is.
It's
you
a
know.
fact.
Yeah. And then you've got the big city of Charlotte. Big city. I mean,
Yep.
it's got all,
All
your
the music,
sports.
all the
Yeah. And then
more
you've got the
expensive fun things to
country.
do.
You've got it all. I mean,
Yeah.
he's got it all.
Yeah, and
Whitewater Center.
you got the airports, the 22nd most traveled airport in the world.
Man.
Yeah, I was doing a research on it to, see how we could, use that
Right.
for Clover, for our businesses.
That's a really big thing to kind of flex.
yeah.
Yeah.
But 85 as well goes straight down to Georgia, and I know that's another huge one. The very first time I'd flown was actually leaving for basic training from Charlotte Douglas to Georgia, and it was a
Dang.
very sad day.
One of the things I've been looking at, you brought up the highway and driving down there and stuff like that, is looking at mass transit for here, train system or something like that. But I don't know if I want to bring that here because this town will change over here.
Tremendously.
Will change so tremendously because where I came from in Westchester and Long Island, they had Long Island Railroad in Westchester, Metro North they called it, and those towns flourished. They became very expensive. Like what was a $300,000 house was a $1.3 million house then. But you got those people who are affording $1.3 million houses. And whoever could afford $300,000, they're gone now.
Right.
And those are the people I want to live with.
Sure.
Right. So
But
here's
I did figure it out.
so like you said, it is changing, right? There's nothing we can do to stop it. I mean, is it bad to be proactive on preparing for that? Like
No.
making those decisions like, all right, well, maybe we will bring a train or whatever you were just saying.
I've looked at, because what is it? I forgot the name. It's in Gastonia. The town right next to Clover in Gastonia. It's like called
Bessemer.
Not
Bessemer.
Bessemer. No, there's an area over there. I forgot the name of it, but they have the train tracks go right there and then they end. And then you got the pollution plant. If we had him come in for like another mile,
Yeah.
then and put a hub there,
Sure.
Yeah.
then this whole area would change.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like, is it something that maybe it should be taken advantage of because it's going to happen?
It depends what type of town you want.
Yeah.
Like, all right, now you have a house here. Your house will triple in price.
Mm-hmm.
But then where are you moving to? Now you're going to have
Sure.
to move to, somewhere completely different because you can't afford any of the houses around here,
Yeah.
and you just sold yours.
But you see what I'm saying? It's coming.
I know,
It's just
I know.
about being proactive and wanting to bring stuff to the town.
It's a hard mix because
Yeah.
you don't want to get rid of the people that are here.
right.
And
Right.
if you start doing stuff like that, the people here cannot afford here.
Yeah.
Sure.
Exactly. But it's
Those are the
frightening,
people who built this place.
Yeah.
They're who made it what it is.
But I mean, I think we can all see it coming. You know what I mean? It's coming.
Yeah, and that's every single place in
Yeah.
this world. Eventually we will run out of room unless some other big mass extinction things happen. We're gonna run out of space. But no, I think that's awesome. That's already a conversation that y'all are having and are aware of and are having. But like, yeah, I don't want to have to leave. I like it
Yeah.
here.
No,
I like
I
it here
get
a
it.
lot.
But
And-
you're the type of person I'm thinking of when I bring up the conversation.
Sure.
You've been here for years.
Yes.
Your family's been here.
Since the late 1700s, as far as we have records of.
And I want your kids to be here.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
and if I start pulling those moves, because I seen it back where I came from, you won't be able to afford it, and you won't like the town that'll look ugly to you in a few years.
Oh man, I'll be on my way to Mexico. Y'all will never see me again. I will be gone. Thanks for the break. I can enjoy my
Hold
tax
on.
dollars somewhere else. Yeah, exactly. Learning a couple of those local phrases, and then I'll miss Clover fondly.
Yeah.
No, I don't know, man. I just you see what happened to Fort Mill, and Fort Mill's
Right, but
it was a great little place.
would you live in Fort Mill?
Heck no.
No.
Right. That's my point.
Yeah.
Is I was down to two houses, one in Fort Mill and one in Clover, and the one in Fort Mill it was cheaper and needed less work. Like I said, there were too many Yankees there. I wanted to move. If I'm moving down south, I want to live with Southerners, and I made the right choice by far.
Yeah.
And I have no hate against Fort Mill. I think it's awesome what they got
Yeah.
going on.
Yep. Yep.
But the people that are there now weren't the people there 10 years ago.
Yeah, definitely.
So I want to keep the people that are here. That's why I came here, for the people that are here.
So speaking of, people here 20 years ago, do you often go back up to New York? And when you do Do you notice a lot of changes now after living in the South for a while?
Well, I go back less and less.
Sure.
As soon I can only do like 3 days, and then I want to come back.
Yep.
Like I was at Victoria's, and I was telling someone I'm going to New York, and she's like, "Oh, you're going back home?" And I'm like, "No, I am home.
Right.
I'm going back to where I used to live."
Yeah.
And it's like I can't wait to get back here.
Sure.
Up there has changed a lot, especially the city. I don't even want to go in the city anymore. It's just gotten so disgusting. It reminds me of the 80s in New York. Some aspects of the 80s. It was real bad in the 80s.
Sure.
But it's just not as comfortable as it once was. I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to.
Especially now that you don't have to, you can get back down here and it's so much quieter. And
Correct.
You know.
And the conversation, someone saying good morning. Like I go up there, I get my South Carolina going and my New York going at the same time. I'm out of my hotel. I'm like, good morning. People looking at me like, what the hell is wrong with you?
Right.
And I'm like, oh, you can't say good morning? How about go fuck yourself?
Exactly.
Yeah, my New York comes right back.
Oh, there he is. What's up?
Yeah. I get like that. I'm like, oh, Jason, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, when I first moved down here, I was like, people are waving at me like, who the hell are you waving at me?
Yeah.
People say good morning to me. What the hell?
Oh, the very first time I went to the Northeast was it was my first team leader at Fort Campbell. It was his wedding, and I went up there for 10 days for like bachelor stuff. And at first I was thinking like, dang, dude, people up here are just so aggressively short. And it took me a couple of days. I'm like, they're not aggressive. They're not being mean or nasty. They just don't take the time to like bullshit about any of it.
Yeah.
Your day is your day. Don't ask me about it. Don't tell me about yours. I'm gonna mind mine.
I got too much to do.
Yeah,
I don't have time for this.
And
that's what it is.
That is a very big misconception that I had. So like, what would you say? I know you'd say people ask you all your questions about the South, but like, what's one thing that surprised you about this place?
About moving down here?
Yeah. Victoria's? It is fantastic.
Yeah, I love
Liver
it.
mush.
Yes.
There's so many things that surprised me. I didn't know my whole world would change like this.
Yeah.
I would be so happy here. It's such a fantastic place. There's so many. I've met people from all around the world. And that's one of the pleasures of living in New York. Here, people are just easier going. Mm-hmm. And that's just been wonderful. And I can go to South Main right now and I'm going to meet someone new. And I'm going to be friends with them probably for the rest of my life.
Yeah, yeah.
Where in New York, someone will be talking to you. We're talking. We're having a good conversation, right? Hey, by the way, I sell insurance. You need insurance? Like, motherfucker,
Sure.
you're only talking to me because you want to sell me something. Go fuck yourself.
Right.
Sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed.
No,
Oh, good. I'm not on TV anymore. We're good.
Okay, all right, good. But so that curveball used to piss me off.
Yeah. So, what's your favorite pizza
Around here,
around here, and then in general?
in general, in New York style.
New York style?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Around here is Steel Creek is a place called Luigi's.
Okay.
yeah. Luigi's is good.
Yeah, I like Luigi's
Very
the
good.
best around here.
Okay. Yeah, I felt like I was eating fast food pizza my whole life.
Oh, I'm a
Until I
Little
went-
Caesars guy.
Until I
all
went
the
to
way.
New York, I was like, whoa.
Same thing with barbecue.
Yeah.
I was eating fast food barbecue, had no clue.
Yeah.
Until I moved down here and I'm
They
like,
have fast food barbecue.
well, no,
it
it's
just sucks.
restaurants. It's
Yeah.
awful. It's just awful. And then you come down here, it's
Right.
like, well, I go to this place called Dixie Pig in Rock Hill.
Oh, yeah.
I love that place.
So I've never been there, and I've lived here my whole life except for the military. The reason I'm saving it, and I am going, but I'm saving it for the first night that they released that show, The Dark Tower, that I was talking about with Stephen King, because there's there's a big shootout in the Dixie Pig in this book series, and I mean, from the very first time I read
like
that,
you. I like your little things, dude.
taking my cameras and be like, guys, tonight's the night.
When is this show coming out? I'll go with you because I've never been to the Dixie Pig either, but my
they're
uncle
still-
used to live right there next to it.
Yeah, no, they're still filming it, so it's gonna be like a year and a half, and I'll still wait. I don't care as long as the apocalypse doesn't come before then. I'm gonna be so happy.
We've got matter of fact, another friend of mine is going to come do a podcast with us. He started a barbecue place in Blacksburg.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the Iron something or other.
Do you know what style barbecue? Because I know that's also a big thing in different areas. I think more the mustardy type.
He's got 3 different flavors, so I'm sure he's gonna be right there in the middle.
Sure.
So I don't know. He's got different flavors. I hadn't been out there to check him out.
Blacksburg is
do
an
it.
interesting town. I had gone there. I do tours around South Carolina and North Carolina just to see what other towns are doing.
Yeah, that was gonna be one of my questions.
Yeah. I go to other towns, and one day I was like, I'm going to Blacksburg. I went to Blacksburg. I went to this place like Danny's or something, had a meal there. It was a good meal.
Yeah.
And then I'm outside smoking a cigarette, and I see a car drive by, do a U-turn, go in the parking lot. Jason, what are you doing here? I know somebody in Blacksburg.
Wow.
Okay. And so I got to talk with him, and this place is completely dead. And now you want to talk about a town that could really blow up because of their location, so close to the casino that's being built.
Sure.
Yeah.
That place could be unbelievable if they want it to be. I don't want to bring it to them. I don't even want to give them the suggestion because I kind of liked it the way it was.
Yeah.
You know, they had a real cool mural. You know,
Yeah. I ain't been out of
That's another very old town. That was where my first dam was with Duke Energy, the 99 Islands station. I think it was built in 1909.
Wow.
Pretty, yeah. It's a lot of the original equipment still up in the attic up there that they use currently.
the older stuff was built better.
It was, oh, absolutely, man. Outcast. Back when things were made out of metal instead of plastic. It's for real. It's designed to last back in
Stuff's
certain
not
days.
made to be. Like I was in the HVAC industry, and I've changed out newer air conditioning units. I've put in, like, there was a 30-year-old air conditioning unit, changed that out, put in a new one, and changed that one out. That lasted only 10 years.
Sure.
You know, the older ones lasted a lot longer.
I mean, it is cheaper to manufacture, and I mean, I get it. It's
They want it
easier
to
way.
break.
But yeah, they want it to break, and then it just sucks, man. It could be done so much better, and everybody knows it, and that's the only thing.
They go under this umbrella of eco-friendly, and when you're changing out units that much, it's not
It's
eco-friendly.
not eco-friendly, right?
Yeah, so the old ones were better.
Right.
You know, R12, R22 was the refrigerant was much better. It was much more efficient.
Okay.
It's not good for the ozone layer apparently, but it's not that bad actually compared to what the refrigerants they're using. It's only like 1 pin difference.
Sure.
If you filled up Clover with all of Clover,
Yeah.
with the refrigerant, the only difference would be 1 pin difference. That's it to the whole environment. But the changing of the units, that destroys the environment more.
Sure.
Yeah, speaking of the global warming, it snowed 4 times.
What snow?
I don't. Yeah. For here, we've had blizzards in the past couple of weeks, man.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen some snow, but
Yeah, some big old flakes.
Oh yeah, you see some snow up there.
Yeah. But that's crazy.
It's been a long time since I think it had been 3 years
The whole
since we'd
time
had
I've been
any.
gone, I heard it hadn't snowed at all. So
Well, 2 years ago we had snow. We had like 4 inches because my friend was posting on Facebook. He's like, "Get out here with your quad. It's awesome." I'm like, 4 inches? I guess you're just like your wife. Happy
See,
with a
yeah, I was about to say some people get a little more excited about 4 inches than others. All right, it just depends on what
They
you
don't
get on
know
a regular
no better.
basis.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, well, we're going to get ready to wrap this up, dude.
Okay.
I appreciate you coming out here. You got any more questions for him?
Anything you want to say to the town?
No, I've said it all.
See you
already.
around. Yeah.
Just see me.
Yeah.
Come talk to me.
Yeah.
Come to council meetings.
Yeah.
Ask questions, please. This is your town.
That is one thing I will absolutely say. While we have a political figure right here, you can do so much, but the town needs to be a part of it.
Yes.
And Clover has really seemed to start really latching onto that. I think maybe for the first time in our generation.
Right.
So, we've never been called on to do so, but like, I hope that everybody else puts the same amount of effort that you guys do. Because, that's the only way we will survive all these different issues that we've been talking about and take advantage of these
None of
opportunities.
the issues are that bad.
Right.
They're not. We have a really good town. We have a solid town. We have great people working for the town. We have great people in the town and great businesses. And like Saltwater Market, that's like a New York business. That's something you would see in New York. and it's down here, and they do a fantastic job, and they got some great.
They got me flew in from Japan the other day, and it was delicious.
They are amazing.
killing
I
it.
can't believe how they do it, and they're born and raised here.
Sure.
The owners are from here, and I think it's and now they have 3 locations.
Right.
I think that's an amazing story right there.
Yeah.
You know, we have a lot of good going on. We're safe here. Streets are clean.
Right.
We have water. We have sewage. Everything is in a good way. We just tinker a little.
Yeah.
That's it.
But I absolutely was just tickled when I got to experience it for myself and saw how engaged people were. So if I could say anything else, it'd be encouraging you all watching this to participate.
Yes,
You know,
please.
That's it.
Yes, ask questions.
Yeah.
And let me, like I was on the phone before when I got a phone call. That was a constituent asking me questions, and I have to get back with him tomorrow with the answers. And I want to. That's my job. I enjoy it.
Dang, that's
Well,
great.
we are happy to have you in Clover, South
super
Carolina,
happy.
man. Bring
Honestly,
some more.
yeah.
I'm not afraid to work.
Yeah.
Way cooler than I thought you were going to be. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Says the guy
Appreciate
driving
you.
the electric
Yeah,
car, you know
yeah.
what I mean?
I know, and that's not coming from watching. I know. Poor, good stuff.
We'll do it
great.
Good
again.
stuff. We just love breaking your balls about that.
That's all right.
And you were expecting
Everybody-
it.
Everybody does, and I accept it. That's why I told the story.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, all right, cool. Let's wrap it up, guys.
Yep.
All right.
Adios.